Hello everyone, welcome to the Geoecologist. I am Dr. Krishnanand and you have been watching my series on environmental geography of late. So in today's session on environmental geography, it's going to be the last lecture on environmental legislations. Right? So environmental legislations, when we talk, it's talking about what are those particular regulatory norms and laws related to environment and ecology, how they have been framed, and what is their importance. So let's discuss this, but before we go ahead, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and do share the videos with others as well.
So now let's discuss in details the legislations in environment and ecology. And it also has three important words that are important to learn here, that is conferences, conventions and protocols. So now what are these conventions? What are these protocols? What are these conferences for? So we have seen that various conferences of international levels like Rio Declaration we already know, about Stockholm Conference, right, about Paris Agreement we know. So what happened at these particular venues? What happened when people or head of states of different countries met, and what did they decide in terms of environment and ecology? What were the legislations that were agreed and signed? Right? So this is where we must understand these particular conventions and protocols in terms of legislations related to environment and ecology. Now let's elaborate and see. So first of all, let's differentiate between protocol, treaty and convention. So protocol is an agreement that diplomatic negotiators formulate and sign as a basis for final convention or treaty. So this is a final signing thing. Remember, the final agreement that is being signed, right, and it is completed, then that is protocol, which have to be followed because a individual or a particular country has signed it. And then there is a treaty. A treaty is an agreement where parties to it negotiate to reach a common ground. That is important to understand as a treaty and avoid further conflict or disagreement on it. So it is what? It is normally ratified by the lawmaking authority of government whose representative has signed it. In United States, the Senate must ratify all the treaties, for example, right? Then convention. So what is a convention? A convention begins an international meeting of representatives from various nations where certain things or procedures, for that matter, or actions are agreed upon after discussion, like wetland, endangered species protection, right? So these are conventions, right? That every individual country in their own country, they will be doing this particular steps towards the protection of environment, right? So these are the three different aspects of a particular legislation in making that we say is protocol, treaty and convention. Now look at Ramsar Convention. What does it give us? It was signed in 1971 in Iranian city of Ramsar, and it is one of the oldest intergovernmental accord for preserving an ecological character of wetlands, right? So it is also known as Convention on Wetlands, and it's basically aimed to develop what? The maintenance of international network of wetlands, right? Where all these wetlands help us to sustain human life as well as maintain ecosystem components and processes at the same time, right? So Ramsar Secretariat is located at Gland, Switzerland, where you have IUCN, that is International Union of Conservation for Nature. So World Wetland Day is also celebrated on 2nd of February, that we already know. And the Montreux Record is a register of wetland sites on which the listed sites are of international importance. So remember, in India, it came into force on 1st February 1982, and as of 2nd February 2021, this year, India's first center of wetland conservation and management has been set up in Chennai. And there are 42 wetlands in India as of now, recognized of international importance and are part of Ramsar sites in India, right? So that's important. Now let's look into why it was in news. And remember, Maharashtra got its first Ramsar site, that is in Nandor. Then Punjab had Keshapur, Miani, Byas Conservation Reserve and Nangal. Uttar Pradesh, Nawabganj, Parvati Agra, Saman, Samaspur, Sandhi and Sarsai Navar. And then other 27 sites are listed in different states. So you can go to the website and you can check there, right? So we have Rajasthan, Kerala, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Assam, West Bengal, J&K, Andhra Pradesh, Manipur, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Tripura. All these places have various kinds of wetlands, right? And additionally, remember, we have an important mission, government mission, that is Nal Se Jal Yojana, which aims to provide piped water connection to every household, right? In order to reduce the wastage of water and also reduce the impact of human beings on these particular wetlands. So it's kind of part of this wetland protection, which is going to be completed by 2024. That is the target. Now comes another important aspect. After Ramsar Convention in 1971, we see Stockholm 1972. So UN Conference on Human Environment, it is called. And we have already talked about it in various other lectures also, right? So in this, many principles were formulated related to environment and development. India was represented by PM Indira Gandhi, and there was a very famous speech made. And I have made also a video on the excerpts from the lectures of Indira Gandhi at 1972 Stockholm Conference. So you can go to the link and watch it in the environmental news analysis section on the playlist. And United Nations Environment Program, that is UNEP, is the outcome of this particular assembly. So UNEP was formed because of this particular conference, right? That's important. Then Convention on Migratory Species came in as Bonn Convention, that is 1979. So migratory bird species or migratory species, remember, it was the first of its kind convention which aimed to conserve terrestrial, marine and avian migratory species, that is bird migratory species throughout their range, right? And it entered into the force in 1983. Marine turtles, Siberian and dugong are part of the conservation aspect in India as well. Now, Vienna Convention, which is very famous for ozone layer protection, 1985. This was the first of its kind which talked about ozone protection, right? And in 85 in Vienna it was held, and it was the starting point of global cooperation for protection of ozone layer. And remember, it was adopted 2 years later in 1987 at Montreal, when Montreal Protocol was signed, right? So Montreal Protocol on substances that delete ozone layer was signed in 1987. An amendment happened in 1990, and finally in Vienna in 1995. That is what we know about the Vienna Convention. Now, look into the Montreal Protocol. And remember, it took place and further came into force in 1989. Now, this particular protocol was one of the important aspects that talked about the ozone layer, and also it had this particular rules under this act, that is on ozone depleting substances regulation and control rules 2000, were drafted under this Environmental Protection Act of 1986 in India, right? So India accepted this protocol along with its London Amendment in September 1992 only, but finally through Environmental Protection Act of 1986 it was part of this particular policy in India in year 2000, right? So that's important. Then World Commission on Environment and Development, that is very famous. We have already talked about in Sustainable Development, 87, right? Our Common Future was the name of report, that is called Brundtland Commission, Brundtland Report, where sustainable development was officially defined, right? Then Basel Convention on transboundary movement of hazardous waste. Remember, this is why it is important. It talks about hazardous waste management, right? So it was one important thing here which came into this accordance was NIMBY, not in my backyard syndrome. And remember, it was not to dispose those hazardous waste in some other country where you could dispose it at lower cost. So this was opposed and this was talked about. So cheap disposal options for hazardous waste in developing countries were now taken care by this particular convention, right? Convention came into the force in 1992. Then United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which we know as Rio Summit or Earth Summit 1992, the biggest of its kind, 20 years after the Stockholm Declaration, right? And Rio was one of the turning points in the evolution of the legislations of environment, right? So it was biggest international conference in the history of international relations. It is also known as Parliament of the Planet, right? So what were the outcomes? Outcomes were Rio Declaration, that is about 27 principles, Agenda 21, which is a massive document, which is action plan that we say. That what are we actually going to do? What is the agenda, right? So legally non-binding principles of forestry, Convention on Climate Change, Convention on Biodiversity, all these things came from the Rio Earth Summit, right? Then Agenda 21, if you look into, this is just a brief summary, that it is a comprehensive action plan document. It emphasizes on issues like poverty, health, consumption patterns, natural resource usage, and also financial resources, human settlements, and technology. Right? It also includes energy, climate, and other aspects. And Agenda 21 is not a legally binding document. That is one aspect that we must remember. Right? Then comes in 1997 is Kyoto Protocol. So Kyoto, place in Japan, right? So Kyoto Protocol is an international treaty which extends the 1992 UNFCCC, that is Climate Change Convention, right? That commits the state parties to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So now here Kyoto Protocol in 1997, when this was signed, it was one of its kind in terms of reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions, as the base year was selected as 1990. So how much was supposed to be reduced? It was in terms of what were your levels in 1990 and then what will be in 2010, and it will be reviewed. So this was the thought being talked about, right? So Kyoto Protocol was adopted in Kyoto, Japan on 11 December 1997 and entered into force on 16 February 2005, and currently 192 parties are of this Kyoto Protocol. So most of the countries in the world have signed it. Now India ratified this Kyoto Protocol in 2002, right? After 5 years, because 1997 it was started. So Kyoto Protocol came into the force in February 2005, and USA never ratified it. That's important to understand. Canada withdrew in 2012. Right? So what is the major goal? It was fighting global warming by reducing greenhouse gases, and a statement of this particular protocol is that a level that would prevent dangerous anthropogenic interference with climate system. So the whole idea of this climate change and greenhouse gas emissions is based on the discussions of Kyoto Protocol that happened, right? So Kyoto Protocol aimed to cut emissions, right, 5% by 2012 compared to 1990 levels. That was of all the signing or signatory countries. So protocol is based on principle of common but differentiated responsibility, right? That you have your own individual responsibility at your own country, but a common responsibility of the planet as well. That's why for greenhouse gas emissions, Kyoto Protocol is supposed to be the benchmark. Then Kyoto Protocol emission targets gas reduced are this, right? So if you look into these emission target gases, are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, sulfur hexafluoride, groups of hydrofluorocarbons and perfluorocarbons. So these are the list of greenhouse gases that are supposed to be reduced under Kyoto Protocol. Then World Summit on Sustainable Development 2002, and it is also known as Rio Plus 10, right? It happened in Johannesburg, right? So Johannesburg Declaration was signed, and UN Conference on Sustainable Development just after 10 years of Johannesburg, that is Biodiversity Convention, happened in 2012. And in 2012, this World Summit on Sustainable Development, it was WSST in Johannesburg. The theme was Future We Want. Now, if you remember, Our Common Future was the name of Sustainable Development Report in 1987. So from Our Common Future, it came to the Future We Want in 2012. And that's where Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 goals, were formulated in 2012. And finally, they were implemented in UN General Assembly in 2015. And after that, in 2016, we see the Paris Agreement, right? So this is also called Paris Accord or agreement. And on 2016, 22nd April, Earth Day, it was a ceremony in New York where all these were open for signature, right? And Paris Agreement has a bottom-up approach. It means the countries that are lying at the bottom of the development parameter will be considered first, right? So bottom-up structure is important in terms of environmental law and treaties. The intended nationally determined contributions placed during 2015 were now being talked about, and main aspect of it was to reduce the temperature or keep it of global average below 2 degrees C by reducing emissions to 40 gigatons, and so that temperature could be around 1.5 degree, right? So what is related to this Paris Agreement is that it will be evaluated every 5 years, and the first evaluation is going to be taking place in 2023. That's why it is very much important.
So now, when we have discussed in details about environmental legislations, in the lectures to come, we'll be talking more on human geography and other aspects of geography, because with this lecture, we have completed the first aspect, that is physical geography series now. So all my best wishes to all of you. Keep learning, stay safe, all the best.